Hello and welcome to Current News. I am Amrit Upadhyay. In this special segment, we will discuss news which is important from the perspective of your exam, the bulletin of the last whole week, which might echo in your question paper in the examination hall. So let us first look at the headlines. Government restores FCRA registration of missionaries of charity. Foreign funding system is being overhauled. Foreign funding of around 6,000 NGOs blocked. Sri Lanka faces deep financial crisis, requests China to restructure its debt. India promises aid. New theory on Maya civilization's decline. Factors other than famine responsible for Maya civilization's downfall. Mayas originated in Central America's Yucatan Peninsula. RBI establishes a new Fintech Department, aims at innovation in India's fintech sector, focus on sector's opportunities and challenges. And deforestation wreaks havoc in Western Africa. Thunderstorms frequency doubled in last 30 years. Frequent floods in the coastal areas. So let's begin with the news of the week. Recently, the Ministry of Home Affairs restored the FCRA, that is Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, registration of missionaries of charity. The Missionaries of Charity is a Catholic religious congregation which was founded by Mother Teresa. It is necessary to know some past developments to clarify the context of this news. Recently, the Ministry of Home Affairs had released a list of about 6,000 NGOs whose permit to receive funding under FCRA had been revoked. Missionaries of Charity was also part of this list. According to the Ministry of Home Affairs, there were some inputs regarding the charity on the basis of which its registration was not renewed. The matter was also raised in the UK Parliament. However, now, Missionaries of Charity is included in the updated list of around 17,000 NGOs whose FCRA registration is active. Let us tell you that the FCRA 2010 was enacted to regulate contributions made from foreign countries to any individual, group or company in India. This act also focused on prohibiting foreign aid to activities which are against national interest. FCRA applies to all associations, groups and NGOs that want to receive foreign contributions. For availing the same, it is mandatory to register under FCRA. Registration is initially valid for 5 years. It can also be renewed provided all the prescribed norms are followed. The registered entities can receive foreign contributions for social, educational, religious, economic and cultural purposes. The inflow of such foreign funds in India is regulated through the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act 2010, the Foreign Contribution Regulation Rules 2011 and other orders or notifications issued from time to time as required. The Ministry of Home Affairs has once again sought time to frame the rules of the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019. Parliamentary committees in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha have not yet given their consent to this demand of the ministry. It is worthy to note that until the rules are not notified, the act cannot be implemented. The ministry has already taken extension by making similar demand thrice in the past. Let us tell you that according to the Manual of Parliamentary Procedure, if any ministry or department in any case is not able to make rules even after 6 months after the passage of any law, then in such a case, an extension can be sought from the committee to which the law is sent for scrutiny. But these extensions cannot be taken for more than 3 months at a time. The Citizenship Amendment Act 2019 was passed on December 11, 2019. The Ministry of Home Affairs had notified that the law would come into force on January 10, 2020. But the law could not be implemented due to delay in framing of rules related to the act. Through this act, there have been talks of giving citizenship of refugees belonging to 6 non-Muslim communities from Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh who entered India on or before December 31, 2014. This law exempts these 6 non-Muslim communities from criminal cases under the Foreigners Act 1946 and the Passport Act 1920, provided they have entered India before 31st December 2014. Delhi High Court has made an observation in the matter related to marital rape. Some NGOs had filed a petition in the Delhi High Court in this regard. The petition challenged the constitutionality of Section 375 of the Indian Penal Code. The court observed that Section 375 seems to be discriminating in matters of sexual violence committed against married women by their spouse. It violates Article 14, 15, 1 and 21 of the Constitution of India. In this matter, the government has stated in its affidavit that marital rape cannot be criminalized. It will harm the institution of marriage and it will become a tool of harassing the husbands. Jury is of the opinion that a woman's sexual autonomy is essential, but the complexities of marital relationships cannot be ignored. The court held and opined that a woman should get autonomy undoubtedly. She cannot be forced by her husband into a non-consensual sex. But whether non-consensual sex in marriage should be considered as rape, whether it should be brought under Section 375 are some of the issues which should be taken under consideration. It is noteworthy that rape in marital relations is being deliberated upon for a long time in India. There is a provision of imprisonment of 10 years for committing rape in India. The court observed that the case related to marital rape should be exempted from the concerned law. For your information, there is a provision of death penalty in the case of rape of a girl child below the age of 12 years. Sri Lanka, which is facing a financial crisis, has requested China to restructure its debt. In the last decade, China has given more than $5 billion in loans to Sri Lanka for airport, port and roads projects. It is important to note that China stands at number 4 among the list of lenders to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has been going through severe debt and foreign exchange crisis in recent months. Seeing its growing financial crisis, it is being speculated that Sri Lanka can go bankrupt this year. Sri Lanka has been facing two types of crisis since the last decade: fiscal deficit and trade deficit. Foreign debt has been increasing continuously since 2014. In 2019, it was equal to 42.6% of Sri Lanka's GDP. It should be noted that the fiscal deficit refers to the difference between total revenue and total expenditure. Generally, fiscal deficit is seen due to revenue deficit or increase in capital expenditure. The government of Sri Lanka is blaming the circumstances arising out of COVID-19 for this situation. Sri Lanka's exports and tourism have been badly affected due to COVID. India has pledged to help Sri Lanka in this difficult time in view of its neighborhood first policy. Sri Lanka declared a financial emergency in August last year. This financial emergency was declared due to the sharp fall in the value of country's currency and rising food prices. The Central Public Works Department has issued new guidelines for providing universal accessibility to the people. The name of these guidelines is Harmonized Guidelines and Standards for Universal Accessibility in India 2021. These guidelines have been drafted jointly by IIT Roorkee and National Institute of Urban Affairs. Let us inform you that these guidelines have been issued by revising the instructions issued by this same department in 2016. The 2016 guidelines were designed keeping in mind the access of persons with disabilities and the elderly to a barrier-free environment. For example, a ramp is arranged for the differently abled to come upstairs to the hospital. But now an attempt has also been made in these guidelines to remove the problems faced by all the sections of the society. For example, the already constructed and future buildings should have such facilities which make it easy for women to move. For this, it is important to keep in mind the clothes and footwear used by women. Along with this, accessibility symbols will also have to be installed for Divyangjan and transgenders. These guidelines of the government are for the state governments, government departments and private sectors as well as for architecture and planning institutes. The Ministry of Civil Aviation has recently talked about promoting the application of drones. Drone basically refers to an unmanned aircraft. Discussions are being held with the ministries to promote the application of drones in various fields with a nationwide emphasis on taking third eye to the sky. The Ministry of Home Affairs has been asked to use drones for surveillance, situational analysis, crime control, VVIP security, and disaster management. The Defense Ministry has been asked to promote the use of drones in surveillance, combat, and counter-drone solutions. The Ministry of Agriculture can use drones for crop and soil monitoring, locust control, and survey related to insurance claims. The Ministry of Panchayati Raj may promote the use of drones for land records and property rights. The Ministry of Environment will use drones to control poaching and monitor wildlife. In the energy sector, real-time monitoring of transmission lines can be done through drones. Similarly, in the field of transportation, drones are effective for project monitoring and quick response in case of accidents. The use of drones can be promoted for medicine delivery and sample collection of tests in the sector of human health. Recently, the 100th birth anniversary of Nobel laureate Hargobind Khurana was celebrated. He was born on January 9, 1922 in Punjab of the undivided India. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1968. He was awarded the Nobel Prize along with Robert Hawley and Marshall Nirenberg. He received this award for his explanation of the genetic code and its function in protein synthesis. By the year 1950, it was already established that genetic information is transferred via DNA. At the same time, it was also known that the nucleotides, which are the basic building block of DNA or RNA, correspond to the amino acids present in a protein. Now the question was, how to solve the puzzle of this genetic code? Hargobind Khurana did the important work on this. He made different RNA chains with the help of enzymes. Then, through these chains, proteins were produced. The entire sequence of the nucleic acid could be traced back through their corresponding amino acids. Hence, he had decoded the genetic code. Under this, the exact sequence of nucleotides within the DNA is detected. The sequence of the 4 elements present in the DNA are AGCT, that is adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. The central dogma of molecular biology is an explanation of the flow of genetic information within a biological system. It is often stated as DNA makes RNA and RNA makes protein. That is, DNA contains information in 4 basic sequences that are read by RNA. This information is then translated to the protein chain. Let us tell you that the first DNA was identified by Frederick Mischer. After this, its double helix structure was identified in 1953 by Dr. James Watson and Dr. Francis Crick. Government is bringing IITs, IIMs and other institutions of national importance under the ABC, that is Academic Bank of Credit. As per the provisions notified in July 2021, ABC were to include only those universities or autonomous colleges that have grade A scores or are among the top 100 in NIRF rankings. However, the amendment made in December paves the way for any university or college to come under the ABC framework. Academic Bank of Credit means a digital storehouse in which your academic marks can be stored. And this, the student will have his own digital account. Through this, it is mandatory to complete 50% of the course in the college or university in which the student has enrolled. After that, the course can be completed from any other college or university. To understand this in simple words, suppose you were pursuing a course in mass media from Institute A and for some reason you are not able to complete this course from that institute. In such a situation, you have the option to store 50% of the course's points in ABC. Later, you can resume the course from there itself or in another institute with the same points. This will bring various benefits to academics such as student mobility, academic flexibility, and students will get a chance to choose their own learning path. Significantly, this provision was made in the National Education Policy. It has been constituted by UGC, that is, University Grants Commission under the Ministry of Education. You must be aware of the tale of Maya civilization's glory and its sudden downfall. Scientists have contested on various theories to explain the civilization's decline. It has been claimed that a famine in the Maya civilization resulted in mass starvation and that led to its downfall. However, a new theory is emerging from recent studies. As per this study, Mayan people had access to about 500 types of edible plants. Many of these plants were extremely drought resistant. Hence, it is being argued that how can such a civilization vanish due to famine and mass starvation? And perhaps other social and economic conditions may have played a crucial role in its decline. For your information, the Maya civilization originated in the Yucatan Peninsula of Central America and it flourished between 600 and 800 AD. The Maya civilization is known for its advanced architecture and sound knowledge of mathematics and astronomy. John Stephens and Frederick Catherwood rediscovered the Maya civilization in 1840. The Maya civilization region is found in present-day Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. Recently, RBI has constituted a separate fintech department. Its objective is to focus on the innovations and identifying the opportunities and challenges of the Indian fintech sector. This department will prepare a framework which will define the ground rules of the sector. Let us tell you that fintech or financial technology refers to the idea of providing financial services through use of technology. It includes online banking, mobile payment apps, crowdfunding platforms, robo-advisors, stock trading apps, and cryptocurrencies. India is one of the fastest growing fintech markets in the world and has one of the highest fintech adoption rates globally. Out of the 2100 fintechs present in India today, more than 67% have been established in the last 5 years. There are 261 bank partners in India's UPI, that is Unified Payments Interface. About 4.21 billion transactions are done through UPI every month. According to the data available till December 2021, there are 17 fintech companies in India that have got the unicorn status. A unicorn company refers to a startup whose valuation is more than $1 billion. According to the study led by a British institute, the frequency of thunderstorms has doubled in some West African regions over the past 30 years. The major reason for the increase in thunderstorms is ongoing deforestation in the region. Thunderstorm refers to a violent, short-lived weather disturbance that is associated with lightning, thunder, dense clouds, heavy rain or hail, and strong gusty winds. During thunderstorms, warm and moist air moves towards a cooler area of the atmosphere. Three factors, that is moisture, unstable air, and lifting, play a pivotal role in causing thunderstorms. In areas where the deforestation is more, the surface temperature remains slightly higher. As a result, low pressure is created in the area, which assists in lifting. The report specifically mentions deforestation and resultant flood-like situation in countries like Guinea, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ivory Coast, and Nigeria. Deforestation affects the environment in various ways. It weakens the soil structure immensely and accelerates soil degradation and erosion. Besides, it also results in an increase in the frequency of landslides in the hilly areas. Trees also act as natural embankments in the coastal areas and provide protection from floods. Large-scale cutting down of trees increases the amount of greenhouse gases in the local atmosphere as trees absorb and sequester atmospheric carbon dioxide. Along with this, trees also play a pivotal role in regulating the water cycle. Let us now look at the 5 questions based on the bulletin.
Questions for this series are: first question is, consider the following statements. 1. At present, there is no Indian law for regulating the foreign contributions made to an institution. 2. A law is passed for such a regulation in 1960, but it was repealed later. Which of the above statement or statements is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 nor 2? Next question is, which of the following departments has the jurisdiction to issue citizenship rules in India? State Department, Prime Minister's Office, Department of Home Affairs, or Department of Finance? Next question is, in which of the following areas can drones be used? 1. Security system, 2. Disaster management, 3. Locust control, 4. Soil monitoring. Select the correct answer by using the codes given below. 1, 2 and 3 only, 2, 3 and 4 only, 1, 3 and 4 only, or all of the above. Next question is, the ancient Maya civilization flourished in which of the following areas? West Asia, Southeast Asia, Central America, or Central Africa? Last question is, what are the effects of deforestation in an area? 1. Increase in rainwater runoff, 2. Increase in soil erosion, 3. Imbalance in water cycle, 4. Recurrence of thunderstorms. Select the correct answer by using the codes given below. 1, 2 and 3 only, 2, 3 and 4 only, 1, 3 and 4 only, or all of the above.
So for the time being, that's all in this bulletin. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe Drishti IAS Hindi, English and PCS YouTube channel. At the end, let us have a look at few more events of the last week in other news.
Researchers have found out that a large-scale migration took place in the Indian subcontinent a long time ago. Scientists have conducted the research in Bhimbetka caves located in Raisen, Madhya Pradesh. As per the research team, there is a possibility that the people of central India were aware of the two-horned rhinoceros in the past. The team has estimated this after analyzing the animal paintings drawn in Bhimbetka caves. Based on these paintings, researchers opine that migration took place in the Indian subcontinent in the past. Ministry of Home Affairs has issued an advisory to all the states and union territories directing them to allot separate wards for transgender prisoners. During this process, they will have to allot separate wards for trans men and trans women too. The ministry has issued the advisory keeping in mind the dignity and right to privacy of transgender prisoners. The advisory clearly states that a prisoner has the right to identify himself or herself as a transgender under Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019. Kerala government has constituted a 3-member panel. The panel will study the ways of implementing Justice Hema Commission's recommendations. There were reports of sexual abuse with the renowned Malayalam actress in 2017. After the unfortunate incident, Justice Hema Commission was formed for providing a safe working environment for women in Kerala film industry. Justice Hema Commission was the first such constituted committee which was aimed at ensuring women's safety in the film industry. World Economic Forum has released the Global Risk Report recently. According to the report, only one of the 10 forum members has agreed on the global economic recovery in the upcoming 3 years. The latest report considers climate change as the biggest threat for the world. Lack of social harmony, livelihood-related crisis, and deteriorating level of mental health have also been considered as major threats in the report. Indian company Power Grid has signed a joint development agreement with Africa 50. The agreement aims at completing Africa's first transmission PPP project in Kenya. After the project's completion, it will become Kenya's first independent power transmission project. BrahMos missile state-of-the-art version was test-fired from INS Visakhapatnam recently. This version of the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile is capable of sea-to-sea strikes. BrahMos is a missile which has been jointly developed by Russia and India, and it can be launched from land, water and sky. BrahMos range was 290 km initially, but now efforts are being made for increasing its range to 600 km. INS Visakhapatnam is a stealth missile destroyer under Project 15B. India's oldest sloth bear Gulabo passed away recently. Gulabo was kept in Van Vihar National Park, Bhopal. Sloth bears are found in South Asian forest. Their hairs are large, coarse black and light brown in color. These bears can be 5 to 6 feet long. IUCN has categorized sloth bear as vulnerable in view of increasing threat to the species.